These free effective communication skills training course videos brought to you by communication expert keynote speaker Dan O'Connor.
Hi everybody, this is Dan O'Connor and welcome back to our Communicate in America series. In this series, we are talking about specific tactics that can help you more effectively communicate when doing business or dealing with people from the United States.
DanO'ConnorTraining.com.
And I'd like to wrap up this session with a freestyle script that so many of us can find useful in so many different occasions. This is the desk script. The desk script is a script that you can use if you have a colleague, a boss, a coworker, an employee that you have an issue with and you are asking for a change in behavior. Let's say they did something, you need to talk about it, you don't exactly know how to put it or what to say. This script will help you because I want to remember that when dealing with people from the US, it is always about the behavior or the policy or the project or the thing. It's never personal. And if the United States is not your main culture, it might be difficult to separate the person from the behavior or to separate business from people. But you want to remember that in the US, it's never personal. It's always about business. Even if we take it personally, it's not personal. And a script, a freestyle script like this script, helps you deliver a clear, concise message, helps you get in and get out quickly because time is money in the US. And it helps you be clear as to what your issue is, how you'd like to see it resolved, and make it about the behavior or the thing and not the person. This is the desk script. The desk script has 4 parts to it. And remember, a freestyle script is simply a way to help frame your thoughts and get them from your head out of your mouth in the most effective way. And this script goes like this. D, you describe the exact behavior. When you describe the behavior that you want some resolution for, remember that you want to do it in one sentence. You want to be specific and not general. You don't want to try and spare the person's feelings by using generalizations such as sometimes, occasionally. You want to be very specific and talk about the last time the behavior happened, or the last time the policy broke down, or the last time the product was defective. Be specific. So instead of, for example, sometimes I don't like the way you talk to me, which is not specific, not direct, and not going to get you resolution, you want to talk about exactly what happened the last time it happened. For example, yesterday you called me kiddo during the company meeting. That's specific, not sometimes I'm uncomfortable with the labels you use when you talk to me. You know what I mean? So you want to use one sentence specifically citing a time the behavior occurred, or instead of, well, sometimes the products come to me and they're not 100% in working order. No, in yesterday's shipment, 32 of the widgets were inoperable out of the 100 that were sent. Be specific in one sentence. If you can't be specific in one sentence, don't have the talk until you can. Then we move along to the E. The E is give the effects of the behavior or of the problem or whatever it is that you're talking about. So, for example, when you use names like that, it undermines my authority, especially when it's done in front of my employees. Or when a high percentage of the widgets are inoperable, such as they were, it actually costs everybody money because we have to stop the normal process and go back to the beginning. So you want to talk about the effects or what's wrong with whatever it is that you're talking about. Then we move along to the S, say what you want. Remember that it's crucial that we are direct and clear with what we want when dealing with people from the US. And again, if you're not from the US, if you're not used to doing business with the US, it might be difficult to be clear and direct with your wants and your needs. Therefore, a script like this helps you do just that. Because when you get to the S, you want to, in one sentence, state what it is you're asking for. For example, not something such as, I'd appreciate it if you could be more professional when you talk to me. That's not clear. Instead, when you're addressing me, especially in front of other people, I'd like you to use my professional name, which is Dan O'Connor, or you could just call me Mr. O'Connor. Or in the future, if you could follow the procedures that were put in place so that the widgets are checked to ensure that at least 85% of them are operable upon arrival, that will help all of us save time and money. Be clear and direct with what you're asking for. Or don't be surprised when you don't get it. Many people are frustrated that they're not getting whatever it is that they want, but if you listen to them, you'll note they're not asking for what it is that they want. Then we move along to the C. The C is consequences. Now, these should be good consequences. What I want to do is tell people what they will get if they do what I'm asking them to do. Remember that in the US, a very popular expression is the WIFM. W-I-I-F-M. The WIFM is important to US business people. W-I-I-F-M stands for what's in it for me. If I cannot articulate what's in it for you to do what it is that I'm asking you to do, I have no business asking you to do it, because that is considered bad business and bad form to ask somebody to do something when there's nothing in it for them. That's something we might do in a personal relationship, not in a business one. Therefore, if I forget to throw in at the end of one of these talks what's in it for the other person when I'm asking for a change in behavior or something to be repaired, it is my fault when I don't get it. It is my responsibility as a professional communicator to always articulate what's in it for the other person. And if you cannot determine what's in it for the other person, then do not have this talk, because to have it, to ask somebody to do something when there's nothing in it for them, that would be bad form. But when you use a script like this, it helps prevent us from making that mistake. And it helps to remind us, oh, this is where I give the WIFM for the other person at the end, the C. For example, and if you can do that, it would help save all of us money and time, and we won't have to revisit this again. Can I count on you for that? Even if you can't think of a good WIFM for the other person, most people don't like talks like this, and a simple, we won't have to talk about this again, would be a WIFM for most professionals. For example, and if you could do that for me, we would never have to revisit this again. Does that sound good? Remember that when you're done giving the DESC, it's difficult for a lot of people to wrap it up. And so they'll do something like, and if you can do that, we will never have to have this talk again. So I wanted to make sure we talked about it because, I wanted to clear the air, and now I've cleared it. So, that's it. If you end one of these talks with a, that's it, that is a danger phrase that should signal to you, I did not have a good closing line ready. Because if I had, I would not have had to tell somebody, that's it. That's the end of my message. There'll be no more words coming out of my mouth. Remember that as a professional communicator, you'll note that professional communicators from the US have closing lines that let other people know that's the end of the message without having to say, that's the end of my message. That's it. Ha ha. So always have a closing line prepared, along with, by the way, a lead-in line to help you transition into this type of talk. So a great closing line when you're all done delivering your message should be a close